For years, my family told me I was being dramatic. That's so annoying. My boyfriend teased me for not being able to open my legs. I started to believe maybe I was exaggerating, but the MRI and the surgery proved otherwise. I wasn't crazy. I was broken.
Welcome to Guys We...
Hello, citizens of planet Earth. How are you doing today on this very calm planet with nothing going on? Welcome to another episode of Guys We...
It's the anti-slut shaming podcast. I am Corinne Fisher.
I'm Krystyna Hutchinson.
What are you doing November 14th? It's a Friday. Are you going to be in New York City? Are you going to be in the vicinity of New York City?
Are you going to be in Brooklyn?
Are you going to be in America?
Are you going to be at the Crown Hill Theater watching the live Guys We... TSGIVING at 8 p.m. at the Crown Hill Theater?
If not, you're really missing out.
Lame.
This is
Buy
our
your
only...
tickets now, baby.
So good. Yeah, this is our only live show of this year. We can't add on because it's a full festival schedule. So like once this is sold out, this is sold out. It's going to be incredible. It's going to be the biggest, best show that we've done in our 12 years on the air. We're so excited. Special guests, special segments. If you've seen the show before, you know that we actually bring it. We do not phone it in like some other live podcasts.
We bring it. And it's going to be different than it's not going to just be us talking. It's going to be very fun.
Right.
The stakes are high at our live shows. We'll just say that.
And that was not directed at any one podcast. Like multiple live podcasts have been a snooze fest. And Krystyna and I, years ago, before we went on the road, we like watched all these live podcast shows and we're like, we don't want our show to be like this because this sucks.
Yeah.
And so we've done everything in our power to make sure that we always have like a very interactive show. It's not just, you're not just watching us podcast. It should be the experience of feeling like you are part of the show for the night. That's the goal.
Yes. And while it is not obligatory, it is certainly encouraged to bring a non-perishable food item with you because Corinne and I are going to go and drive it to a food shelter after the show, the weekend after the show.
We just never stop giving back, guys.
Yeah, correct.
Somebody stop us.
TSGIVING.
Please don't stop us.
All of our bios. I'm at Krystyna Hutch. Together we're Guys We without the U and
I'm at Philanthropy Gal. Eric.
At Eric FRETTY.
Hell yeah. If you want to email us, sorryaboutlastnightshow@gmail.com. Today's subject line, childhood trauma broke my literal hips. Dear Corinne and Krystyna, I want to share a medical situation with you that feels unique, but I know I'm not the only one. Krystyna, years ago, you read my childhood trauma email on your podcast. I was the little girl kidnapped by her father's family, taken to India, and raped/abused for years by a cousin until my mom paid thousands to get me back to Canada. Yo, you don't know what anybody's going through in life, okay? So this is just another reminder of like, maybe if someone's a dick to you in line at CVS,
For sure.
maybe give them grace.
Right.
It's not going to hurt.
For sure.
Even though I've mostly made peace with that chapter, it still hits me every time I hear someone validate just how horrific it really was. It reminds me I'm not weak for living with PTSD. No, you are fucking not. I live with it and it's tough. I honestly thought the worst was behind me. I believed I used that nightmare as fuel to move forward, to carve out a career in law enforcement, and to turn pain into purpose. But then my body threw me a twist I never expected. About 5 years ago, hip and groin pain started creeping in. Little by little, opening my legs like you would during missionary sex became harder and harder. The motion and the range became tighter and tighter. Sex became painful to the point where afterwards I'd curl up in a ball with what I call, quote, post-nut pain. I haven't been able to straddle my guy in years. Getting in and out of bed or the car hurts. Even amusement park rides, the ones with the plastic divider in between your legs, left me in tears. My first Disneyland trip at 28 should have been magic, but instead I found myself fighting back sobs as the pain reminded me of what I couldn't do. Surfing lessons in Mexico? Nope. Horseback riding? Gone. My body was shrinking my life piece by piece. At the end of 2023, I hired a personal trainer to prep for my police physical exam. Within a few sessions, she told me flat out something was very wrong. I'd been doing hot yoga 3 times a week and pushing my body to stretch, but nothing was helping. She sent me to a physiotherapist who, after only 2 sessions, said the same thing. You're too active and too strong to be this locked up. He pushed for an MRI. Getting an MRI was a battle. In British Columbia, our healthcare system is free, but it can take years to see a professional. I mean, what's the fucking point then? My doctor told me I could only have an MRI if I needed surgery. How exactly do you know if I need surgery without an MRI? After begging, waiting months, and losing my patience, I finally got one. The results? What looked to be multiple labral tears in my left hip, another tear in my glutes, less severe tearing in my right hip, plus impingements on both sides. It took almost a year of waiting, but I finally sat down with a leading orthopedic surgeon. Fast forward to this summer. I'm now a few months post-reconstruction surgery. My surgeon told me when he got inside my hip, I had no labrum left. Labrum, I don't know if I'm saying that right. None. I guess my family GP misread the MRI image. He rebuilt it.
That's so bad.
He rebuilt it with a cadaver tendon, shaved down bone, and told me he'd never seen such a severe case in a woman.
Because no one was looking.
Nope, no one was caring. Well, what happened in your little body? It usually happens in men. Yeah, because that's who they study. You see the connection? Isn't that fun being a lady? In a few months, I'll go through it all again on the other side. My surgeon has asked if he can use me as a case study and for further medical research, as this type of surgery technique is very new and my medical issue is rare. Fun. And you know what? I feel vindicated. For years, my family told me I was being dramatic. That's so annoying. My boyfriend teased me for not being able to open my legs. I started to believe maybe I was exaggerating, but the MRI and the surgery proved otherwise. I wasn't crazy. I was broken. Over the last year and a half, I've spoken with countless medical professionals. Several asked whether trauma could have played a role, not just physical, but psychological. One physiotherapist told me outright that the abuse I endured between ages 8 and 10 may have impacted my physical development. The more I've researched, the more I've seen studies making connections between childhood trauma and bone health. Nothing is conclusive, but in my gut, I know. Yes, you do. Multiple months long psychiatric stays, the handcuffs and blindfolds police put me in because I was, quote, out of control. That is so fucking insensitive in the world. That is so, you were an abused child. Like, what? Anyway, the cocktail of drugs from ages 10 to 16 that suppressed my appetite, the years of PTSD, I think it all carved its way into my hips.
Oh, that makes sense. Especially if you were being drugged, like that really could stop growth.
Yeah. It's suppressing the systems in your body. So here I am, 20 years later, after clawing my way toward being happy, curious, and adventurous person, to be sidelined again. The surgery set me back. It's shaken my self-esteem, my life plans and goals. It makes me wonder if I'll ever be physically strong enough to pass that physical exam. Girl, you will. I believe in you.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I know my path isn't over.
I think it'll be stronger than ever because your body is like fixed.
Yeah. I'll adapt like I always have. I'll find a way to serve, to bring empathy into a role where most only see, quote, bad kids instead of hurt ones. Yes, honestly, policing is such a fucking missed opportunity to help people. Like, the people that go to jail are the people that need love the most. Why are we not making this connection?
Well, unfortunately,
we're shoving them in cages.
Yeah, like the justice system, or like the police officers, they're just trained to react to crimes, not to stop them before they happen. And that's why so many cities that see these high crime rates, Baltimore is a great example. I was telling you about how I believe the young mayor, he got the violent crime rate down like 62%. And he did it through like empathy and all these community outreach programs.
That's amazing. And that's the thing that will work. I wish we knew that more, but I'm glad that it's actually starting to be implemented.
Yeah.
And through all of this, your voices have been in my ear. You've helped me find language for things I didn't know how to say. You've made me think deeper, laugh harder, and keep pushing forward. From the bottom of my slutty heart, thank you. Love a loyal fucker. I've attached 3 photos of me, one before I was hurt, one during the time of abuse, and one at 27, enjoying my time living in France and feeling genuinely happy and hot.
And you're so cute and you're so hot. God. But also, it's so interesting to see
so cute.
You're a picture of someone like while they're being abused, because like she just looks like a normal girl. You wouldn't know. Children are what they
be self-conscious about just being a kid.
Yeah, like what they can hide. And like I'm sure you and you can look at your eyes and say like I'm sad, I'm hiding things, but like it's really crazy the survival mechanisms that can take over even for something as simple as like a snapshot.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're such a babe. Body yaddy yaddy. So thank you for writing that. It's just such a testament to like, Jesus Christ, man. People can go through the most intense situations and, the whole "it doesn't kill you makes you stronger." No one ever wants to hear that when they're in the throes of it. Of course, I would never dare say that to somebody who's just experienced something super traumatic. But it's fucking annoying how true that is. It's annoying how true that is. And PTSD flashbacks are like no fucking joke. It's awful. And next time, like I talked about one of the bonus episodes, a PTSD flashback that I got caught in for like 6 hours. And for me, it makes me act like an asshole. It makes me act like, when you think of dogs and how like we've all met a dog that has suffered abuse in its life and the way it behaves, it's scientific, it's mathematical, it's textbook. If a dog is abused, they're going to see people as danger. And so it's the same with a person. And so I try to just use that experience of reminding myself that when I act like an asshole in the midst of like a flashback, that next time somebody else acts like an asshole to me, see if I can give them grace. There is room to give people grace. And I feel like that can also make a huge difference. And I really hope that you pass your physical exam, girl, and you get into the police force, because law enforcement needs a person like you who's been through shit, who has compassion and empathy. So go off, queen.
Absolutely. Don't let it take you down.
And you can hear us in other places, guys. I have a second podcast that I launched with Daniel Pinchbeck that I co-host. It's called Wait, What? And it's about all things metaphysical. We're talking psychedelic drugs. We're talking to other universes through channelers. We're talking about alien abductions. So you can listen to that wherever you get your podcasts. It's called Wait, What? With myself and Daniel Pinchbeck.
And then I have Without a Country. We live stream on YouTube every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. You know it. We're working on critical thinking. We're working on taking in news sources from the far right and from the far left and everywhere in between. And the fun thing about the far right and the far left is they're pretty close to one another. So be careful about that. And don't be surprised if, your far right friends come back to the far left, or your far left friends make their way to the far right. It actually makes perfect sense in the belief system. And then additionally, we've been really concentrating since I ran for mayor on municipal politics. It is my belief that we as individual voters and residents of communities have so much more power over what our elected officials on a municipal level are doing. And I just launched today my first of a series that I'm doing called Local Whispers, where I meld two of my favorite loves, ASMR. The amount of time I spent watching ASMR videos every week is the only reason I have TikTok. And then my love for municipal politics. Just wanted to present it, first of all, in a calming way, because politics is super stressful, but also trying to make local politics interesting. We don't really just see them talked about widely. Obviously, it makes sense because it's only affecting your town, but you just really got to pay attention to that, and you got to vote for mayor. You got to vote for city council. Those are important roles. And God, especially if you live in Washington, D.C., because Congress does have power over that because it's a federal district, not technically a city, even though it runs like a city. You get it.
I love it. How are you doing?
Good. Oh, actually, I have a quick thing that I think would be interesting or quick-ish. Where did I just see this? Oh, so Vanessa Bennett, a friend and amazing therapist, she posted this screenshot of an op-ed that she wrote for Self magazine, and it said, "How did straight marriage become so miserable for women?" And I thought, I actually haven't read it yet because I just saw it when we sat down, but I just absolutely love what she has to say always, and I really appreciate her opinion. And if she's, if you haven't been following her and her husband at The Angry Therapist, they lost their home in the wildfires in California. And it's been really interesting, and they have a young daughter as well, and it's been really interesting watching them rebuild, because after their house burned down, they actually made this decision to leave California and start an entirely new life in Costa Rica and build a community. And
community.
It's just been really cool to watch. And, I think people's character really comes through when the worst things happen in their life, not when the best things happen in their life. And to have the power and the courage really to not just leave, the place that you've known, but go move to an entirely new country away from friends and family. Like, it's really been interesting to watch. So I'm just kind of have that in mind as she's, but even with all that fresh perspective, Vanessa still agrees that Marriage for Women is the pit. So it says women are giving up on men, but maybe that isn't the only way forward, one therapist writes. So here you go. Maybe it's a fresh perspective. Everywhere you look, women are imagining a world without men or actively creating one.
Facts, though.
This economist crunched the numbers and stopped dating men, reads a recent headline from New York Magazine. In New York Times, 11 women, 9 dogs, not much drama, and no guys, details a community of retirees creating a man-free utopia in Texas. You lost me at Texas, but other than that, I'd be interested. Elizabeth Gilbert even discussed the cons of heterosexual marriage for women on Monica Lewinsky's Reclaiming podcast. That was a very interesting interview. The trend isn't particularly new or surprising. You might recall The Wing, the women-only social club and workspace founded in 2016 by Audrey Gelman and Lauren Kassan that shuttered in 2022.
Oh, no.
So typical woman.
Damn it.
We need more attempts. We've had less time to try things.
True.
But the idea that we are better off without the opposite sex is at the very least entering the mainstream, if not coming to a head. Mm-hmm. All of this points to a truth many women rarely say out loud. While we have long been sold on heterosexual partnership as a baseline for a life full of happiness and love, it can actually feel harder than going it alone. Maybe you've considered it yourself when you're sick of managing the mood in the room before you even take stock of your own, or when you become the translator for your partner's feelings while yours go unspoken. Are you the one who notices the groceries are low or that the pediatrician appointment hasn't been scheduled long before anyone else? Even intimacy can start to feel like another performance rather than a place of rest. For the first time in history, women don't need men for survival. We can own property, build careers, raise children, and create communities without them, which means the decision to partner is now a choice and not a necessity. But even when we engage in this choice, women seem to be getting the short end of the stick. If you dig into the data, a striking paradox emerges. Married men show better health outcomes, lower rates of depression, and longer lifespans than their married counterparts. Married women, however, report higher stress, less freedom, and greater dissatisfaction. Damn. What the hell is going on? Relationships often function like one-way life rafts, keeping men afloat while leaving women depleted. What we've been taught to call intimacy, caretaking, appeasing, overfunctioning is just codependency. Let me explain. Both men and women carry what I call the choose me wound, but it shows up differently for each. Women are conditioned to earn love by being agreeable, selfless, or small. Men are conditioned to earn it through achievement, dominance, or, these pop-up ads are so annoying.
Oh my God, yeah.
Makes me lose my spot. Okay. Dominance or by outsourcing their emotional needs to women and expecting validation in return. We've all been taught to measure our worth by external approval instead of learning to source it from within. The bond this creates isn't closeness, it's dependency disguised as partnership. I see it in my therapy practice all the time. Women confuse control with care, over-functioning to keep the system stable, then resenting men for not stepping up.
Yup.
One client, for example, came in furious that her husband never seemed to notice when the kids needed new shoes. But as we explored it, she realized she had trained him into passivity by always jumping in first because she couldn't bear the thought of things being missed or her kids, quote, suffering. Her overfunctioning looked like devotion, but underneath it was control and exhaustion. What she resented in him was also what she perpetuated in the system. We cling to the martyr myth.
Ouch, true.
Mistaking sacrifice for love. We resist boundaries because we were taught they're selfish, leaving us resentful, when in fact those boundaries could become the foundation of intimacy. Here's the deeper truth. These roles don't serve men either. When boys are taught that emotions, connection, and self-awareness are weaknesses, they grow into men who are emotionally and spiritually underdeveloped, cut off from their own depth and from the people closest to them. They may live longer on paper, but those extra years are often lonelier, narrower, less intimate, and less fulfilling. A longer or cushier life without real connection isn't much of a gain. Patriarchy is, in fact, sabotaging your marriage. It is a bad deal for everyone. The
Yep.
frustration women feel is real and justified. No one should have to live as the glue that keeps things together while your partner never learns how to hold their share. But empowerment doesn't come from staying angry and exhausted. It comes from changing the pattern. In practice, that might mean noticing where you say yes when you want to say no. It might mean asking directly for reciprocity instead of silently hoping it will come. It might mean letting a ball drop instead of rescuing the system. That's the one that has been most successful for me. And it's really hard, but just let things become chaotic and let other people clean up the mess. So your partner has to step in. Ultimately, how they respond to any of these scenarios is information for you. Small acts of reclaiming yourself are what start to break the old templates and make space for new ones. The revolution isn't about doing away with men, but about refusing to do away with ourselves. So maybe the question isn't whether men are, quote, hard to live with, but whether the roles we've inherited are. I knew without even reading it in advance, Vanessa, that I could trust cold reading of Vanessa Bennett op-ed on the podcast.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah.
I love what she has to say.
Yeah.
And I love, I'm assuming the men that listen to the show, and there's a bunch, they're not feeling defensive. But if you are feeling defensive, if any of that made you go, pay attention to that. Just note it for yourself and go, why? And explore and do all of that stuff. Because it's like, my favorite kind of guys are the ones where I could say, like, I fucking hate men. And they know they're not in that category. So they go, yeah, it's frustrating.
Literally, the first text I sent to my boyfriend this morning was, and I quote, men are disgusting.
Yeah.
And then I sent him a voice note being like, I'm sorry to hit you with that. And he goes, no, you don't have to apologize. He's like, you're right. We are disgusting.
Yeah.
But he's not like that. It makes him seem like a real cuck, honestly, but he's not at all. You guys know I wouldn't date a cuck.
No.
Yeah, no. I was just like, yeah, because I, started the new ASMR series, and like men shouldn't be allowed to fucking watch or do ASMR, in my opinion. And of course, like I'm talking.
I know, because they're eroticizing it and it's annoying.
Yeah. Like I was like, I love ASMR. It like really calms my nervous system. But additionally, like I was talking about like really serious stuff. And like, if all you're getting out of that is an erection, like you have a problem, like as far as what you're contributing to society.
Correct.
Like I'm literally telling you that like and it wasn't even a woman-focused article. I specifically didn't pick a woman-focused article. I picked an article about how like it's going to affect youth who commit crimes and disproportionately affect like black and brown people. And mostly they're going to be men because men can be committing more crimes.
Right.
So it's like, that's what I was talking about. And you're getting an erection?
And you're telling me?
You're
typing it? You're going, that's something I want to say.
That's what my boyfriend points out. He said something very interesting. He said,
shit to yourself.
He said it's alarming how comfortable men are being horny in public. And I said, certainly.
Yep. Preach, sir. I was fantasizing about. I was saying I went to the beach a couple episodes ago. I got triggered, but that's not what this is about. There was like girls there at the beach, or women about the beach that were in like thong bikinis and stuff, and I was like, oh, that's so nice. And I'm like, man, I wish there was a beach where men aren't allowed to go.
Yeah.
And all the women could just be fucking naked. And it's not sexual and it's not weird. It's just being in the sun, titties out in the sun, pussy out in the sun, go in the ocean naked, and just like, because there's a freedom to being naked, and we can't fucking do that without being sexualized. And it's like, you can obviously not care, and that's what most women do. But like, I just wish there was a woman-only beach, like where we can all just be nude, and it's not sexual. It's just like freedom.
That being said, I have talked to people who enjoy nudist beaches, and they claim it's not very sexual. They claim it's like,
last time I went
more
to
just
the
like old guy. Oh yeah, you went.
The girl was getting fingered, like on the blanket. That was like my intro to the nude beach. Was like a guy fingering his girlfriend.
That's weird.
I know. I was like, come on.
And
there was a lot, and there was just a lot of guys. Like, I don't trust men to fucking behave themselves.
There's always too many men in spaces like that. Like a disproportionate number of men.
And the ones that are the worst and that ruin it are obviously numerically the minority, but like you ruin it so hard that like we can't do nice things. And if you're one of the good guys that get frustrated over that, talk to your boys who suck.
Yeah, just literally say cut it out, dude. It's as simple as simple as saying cut it out, dude. That's not cool, brah.
Yeah, whatever, however you fucking talk to your boys. But like, talk to your fucking boys. Do you know what I mean? Like, it would be lovely to feel safe walking around, and we clearly don't. And then maybe one day, if men don't behaving like that, I don't think we'll ever live to see that day, but I would be cool. Then we can all be at a nudist beach and no one's weird.
That would be very nice.
So nice.
Damn.
You know who's nice?
Today's guest.
Abso-goddamn-lutely. He is a man, trigger warning, but he's one of the good ones. We've had him on the show before. He did a live episode of the show. That was really lovely. You've probably seen him. Probably seen him as a talking head on some of your favorite comedy shows. He co-hosts a podcast with his son called Hey Man, and he's currently on tour doing stand-up comedy with his son, who is also a stand-up comic, all around the country. So make sure you follow him and get tickets to see him. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show, Josh Wolf.